What's up, guys? Mr. Travis Pavlik looking over here because very cool AI prompt. After you use AI, whether it's any of the frontier models, it's gonna have enough data to kind of make a judgment on you. So I don't use ChatGPT as much. However, I wanted its opinion of me. So the prompt is, what is your opinion of me? Strengths, weaknesses, and overall in-depth analysis of me. This is interesting. Based only on what you share with me over many conversations, I can offer an impression. It's not a psychological evaluation or a complete picture of who you are. It's a pattern of your interests, habits, and decisions you discuss. Overall impression. You strike me as someone with unusually high ambition and curiosity. You don't seem content with average outcomes. Whether it's cars, business, fitness, dating, finance, or theology, you tend to ask, how do I optimize this? Bingo. It's crazy. It's like, whoa, bro. You get me. You're also highly self-directed. Rather than asking someone else to solve problems for you, you usually want to understand the system well enough to solve them yourself. True. It can also have negatives, as I'm learning, but more on that later. At the same time, one recurring theme is your ambitions often outpace your available time and resources. Okay. Cook. Let them cook. You pursue multiple difficult goals simultaneously, which can slow progress on any single one. Ding, 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 ding. Literally nailed it. That's so crazy how poignant that is, because these are things I've been working through. A friend put me on this book, Essentialism, which is like taking all these goals and just focusing, and I have not solved that yet. Knowledge, self-knowledge available as nothing. Turn your will and your life over to God as you understand Him at a higher power. Strengths. 1. Exceptional learner. You absorb technical information quickly. You've asked detailed questions about engine building and tuning, mortgage guidelines, debt settlement, marketing, AI, fitness, theology. These aren't surface level questions. You tend to dig until you understand why something works. That's a valuable skill. Thanks, bro. High agency. 2. When something interests you, you don't wait for permission. Examples include rebuilding a Turbo 2 JZ, starting or marketing businesses, learning loan origination. Bruh, I already know that. Building fitness coaching, using AI to improve marketing and design. Many people consume information. You generally try to build things. Thanks, bro. 3. Comfortable with complexity. Many people dislike complicated projects. Good for them. Good for freaking them, because I got way too much complexity. You seem energized by them. For example, engine swaps, turbo, sales psychology, financial regulation. You don't appear intimidated by steep learning curves. 4. Resilience. You've mentioned it's going through a lot of personal information I don't quite feel comfortable sharing, but just think about negative things in your life. So it says you've mentioned negative things. Health concerns is one I'll put out there. Relationship issues. Despite setbacks, you continue planning the next project rather than giving up. That's a meaningful strength. Thank you. A lot of this is like, come on, bro. Give me the more tough criticism. 5. Creative. Your questions often combine different domains. Example, marketing psychology, graphic design, branding, sales, fitness, automotive, engineering. You don't think strictly inside one discipline. Very true. Weaknesses. Here we go. These are observations from recurring patterns, not definitive judgments. 1. Too many simultaneous goals. Ding, 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 ding. Bingo. This is the biggest pattern I've noticed. Over time, you discuss fitness coaching, debt settlement, mortgage career, automotive build, dating, real estate, AI automation, golf, business branding, programming, ancient civilizations. Each could easily become a full-time focus. Your curiosity is an advantage, but it can dilute your progress. Bingo. 2. Optimization can become procrastination. You often seek the best solution, best transmission, best wheel offset, best marketing, best photo, best business idea. Sometimes the incremental gain from further optimization is smaller than the value of just simply moving forward. Amen, preach, brother. 3, high standards. This shows up in requests like make it more realistic. That still looks fake. Try again. High standards are useful, but they can also make it harder to feel satisfied or to finish projects. Bang. This is really enlightening. Guys, you gotta try this. 4, you sometimes underestimate the value of consistency. Large successes often come from doing the basics repeatedly. Your questions often focus on breakthroughs rather than maintaining steady habits. The two aren't mutually exclusive, but consistent execution usually compounds more than occasional optimization. Consistency is greater than essentially perfection, or this idea that realistically it's self-knowledge avails us nothing, because it's more about doing the thing than thinking about doing the thing a little bit better. My brain is optimized towards thinking about doing the thing the best way, and I'll get stuck on that perfectionism or procrastination. There's a lot of different terms. That's a whole thing. Stephen Pressfield calls it the war of art. That's a good book, but essentially the best way to break this down, because I'm learning it myself, so hence why I think about these things, the knowledge now and the ability for all of us to have knowledge is unprecedented. So everyone has the knowledge to do anything, just about. And some people are behind and they probably need AI, right? But so that's not a competitive advantage in most cases. Everyone could have done the business of the GLPs, right? A few people execute them and they're like billionaires. Everyone could have done, stock trading on some of these algorithms. Like, you don't even need them. They already had that. But anyways, there's a lot of just businesses that are like, now you can outsource it to AI. You don't need employees. It's the cost of businesses is so low now, anyone can do it. But it's like the actual execution on that, which is something I'm still working on. Personality traits. If I had to describe your tendencies: curious, competitive, analytical, independent, entrepreneurial, improvement-oriented, persistent, sometimes impatient, often future-focused. That's interesting. Yeah. It's future-focused, because I'm viewing that as like way, what is it? Anxiety is fear, uncertainty about the future. The past is like what? Regret or depression. So staying in the now, here and now. So interpersonal observations. From our conversations, you appear to value competence, yes. Authenticity, yes. Sometimes I feel like a fake. Loyalty, yes. Personal responsibility, accountability, yes. It's a personal responsibility. Self-improvement, yes. You've also talked openly about working on, and then personal, let's just say relationships. That willingness to examine your own behavior suggests self-awareness, even if change is still a work in progress. Yes, it is a work in progress. Career fit. I think you'd naturally do well in environments that reward learning and ownership, such as entrepreneurship, technical sales, consulting, engineering adjacent roles, performance coaching. Hey, let's go, baby. Businesses where expertise creates a competitive edge. Nice. Roles that are highly repetitive with little room for initiative seems less likely to keep you engaged. I'm sorry, did you just say like highly repetitive? What I think holds you back most, basically it's been right on everything. If I had to pick one thing, it isn't intelligence or motivation, it's dispersion. It's an interesting term. Imagine putting 100 units of effort into one goal for 2 years versus spreading those same 100 units across 5 or 6 major projects. The second path can feel productive. Aha! You get the dopamine spikes of like all this knowledge, and now I love knowledge. But no, like the execution is the key. The second path can feel productive because you're always learning, but it often produces fewer finished outcomes. And in particular, this is something, sometimes we know things from like 20 years ago, and we still get caught up in our own head or like our own tendencies. So putting this out there is valuable. And if you relate to this, put it in the comments. What stands out most? You don't seem satisfied with simply earning a paycheck. Across our conversations, there's a recurring desire to build skills, businesses, and systems that give you more autonomy. That drive can be a real asset when paired with focus. If I could give one piece of advice for the next 12 months, choose one primary objective and let most other ambitions support it rather than compete with it. For example, if your priority is growing your income through your mortgage or debt settlement career, let your marketing skills, AI use, communicative practice, and networking all reinforce that single goal. Your car build can still be a hobby, but it doesn't need to consume the same mental bandwidth. The pattern I've seen isn't a lack of capacity, it's that you have enough capacity to pursue many interesting things at once, and that can make it harder to achieve the level of success you're clearly aiming for in any one area. Overall, my impression is positive. You come across as intelligent, resourceful, and willing to put in effort. The biggest opportunity isn't becoming more capable, it's directing your existing capabilities towards fewer priorities for long enough that they compound. Nailed it. Try this one. I'm very curious about your guys's. If you don't feel comfortable putting it in, making a video or putting it in the chat, then I am curious what other people get. So you could DM it, or you could just say, say something, but I'm very curious how this affects other people. 12 minutes, I'm out.